Okay, so to remove the tank on one of these SV650s, the first thing you need to do is remove two screws from this section here, which are just Allen screws. The next thing you need to do is remove two plastic panels from here, one on each side. Again, it's two Allen type screws. And then you remove the seat, which will be fastened with two screws here on both sides, and there'll be large Phillips screwdriver, and that will gain you tank. There's a vacuum pipe and a ordinary fuel pipe which needs to be removed, and there's also a electrical connection which is for the fuel tank warning light, so when the fuel's low it comes on. Remove all of these. Okay, so the best way to remove the tank is to undo these two, not these two, or these hold the subframe on. Undo these bolts here, which are 12mm. Once you've done that, you can then use, careful to lose the tank levers which sit upon the frame. Remove the tank. Once you've got the tank off, you're going to need to remove the electronic sender unit and also the fuel tap. Large screwdriver should sort this out, and I believe this is about a 26mm, but I've got an adjustable because I can't find a spanner the exact size. It's worth noting also to remove the fuel tap first, as then it leaves more room to use the larger tool, but also minimises effect of hitting it with the what I'm actually going to be using for this job to seal the tank up and seal any pinholes, etc., which is likely to be the cause of the leak, is a POR15. A POR15 is a fantastic product, but it requires a sterile condition realistic to work properly. So the tank needs to be rinsed out with some kind of acid, vinegar, etc., ideally to remove any rust, contaminant, or any flaking rust. Whilst the tank's removed, it's a good idea to check the airbox and air filter. These four screws release. The air filter looks in good condition. It's possible to remove the top piece like that, and then you can have a look at the actual internals. That appears to be in good condition and reusable. Maybe just a blow through of the compressor. If you find for some reason that despite the POR15 it doesn't seal the tank fully, you may have to invest in a second-hand good fuel tank, which is what I've done here. This comes from Breakers. It was about £60, so they're quite cheap. There's plenty of SV650s about still, luckily. You're going to need some tools to swap pieces over from tank replacement from the original. The first thing is a 12mm spanner to undo the mounting back, and then you're also going to require a 4mm Allen socket to take the fuel cap off. You need to undo the fuel cap first, and that will allow you to swap that over. It's notable as well, there's actually a mounting lug situated in the cap recess, which is for the location. So that needs to be aligned with that, but that will be pretty obvious anyway. Once you've done that, underneath, depending on how your new one comes, it may or may not come with the fuel sender and the fuel tap. In this case it's got the fuel sender but no fuel tap, so we're going to swap that over as well. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is undo your mounting, 12mm. Once you've undone it, pull the bolts out, swap that over, and then redo it back up again. Without hitting the fuel tank with the spanner. remove the 4 bolts. Noting some of these are actually dummy Allen screws, only 4 of them are actually real. But if you look at the new tank, you will see which ones to take. Ideally, you want to torque these up with a torque setting. I don't have it to hand, so I'm just going to do them by feel. You have to be very wary because you are likely to strip the threads if you over torque it. It will be pretty obvious which orientation this goes in if you've taken it off prior, because it'll only go one way. So reassembly onto the bike is much the same as removal. Put the tank down, feeding in. Try and get it roughly aligned. Your two 12mm bolts will go back in, and then reconnect the lines. Also, you need to feed the fuel sender through. To reinstall the tank, you'll also need to install the front mounts. These are 5mm. Allen socket, the same, or Allen key if that's what you have. If the bolts seem to be out of alignment, it's a good chance the rubbers have a little bit of play in them and they may have moved slightly off of position. The next piece of the puzzle is the seat, which has 2 Phillips screwdriver screws which go into mounts onto the subframe. And then the next piece you're going to put in is the side pieces. A 4mm hex or Allen. Once you've installed the tank, it's a good idea just to check for any leaks underneath when you put the first load of fuel in it. It is possible for the rubbers that seal the fuel petcock or tap, and also the sender unit, if you replace that, to actually start leaking, unfortunately. The seals I think are available from Suzuki, not sure of the part numbers, I might update the description with that. And then obviously check just to make sure everything's good. And then with any luck, you should be greeted with the sound of a throbbing twin.